cheeseburger.
G'day peeps, welcome to Heart Talks. Today my guest is Brian the Healer, and he's coming from Melbourne, Australia. I got to start announcing where all these guests are coming from because we are really international now, and I'm loving that. Welcome to my beautiful, bright star family here at Heart Talks.
Well, thank you very much for the time to be able to talk to you. It's really great.
You know, Brian, what attracted me to you in the first place over at Facebook is that you spend a good amount of time explaining to people about healing. And I think that's really important because healing is not just like a medical world fix me type of action. Healing is actually, in my world, it's a relationship, and I have enjoyed everything you've talked about, and encouraging people to give healing a try, and I would like for you to talk a little bit about that, if you would.
Okay, in what aspect? Because it's a very wide, very open thing to talk about. So what aspect would you like to think about?
Okay, so I would like to talk about the aspect of a relationship with your own body, because I think that's vital.
Part of what I think is important for any person who is involved with healing is the first aspect is really to do some meditation to actually connect your soul to your mind, basically helping you to interconnect, getting those feelings within you so you know what it is that you're looking for. I know with myself, I had grown up with the fact that I thought everybody was just like me. I didn't think I was anything different. But then after talking to certain people, I realized over a while that, hey, everybody isn't like me, and that I have things that I can do that most people thought they could do or wanted to do but never could. So I thought it was important for me to be able to connect what I felt as I was growing up that I thought that everybody else had, and I was trying to figure out why it was that I wasn't feeling the same as everybody else, because I could actually sense that things were going to happen. I could feel the weather. I could even decide what aspect I'd like to have for it to happen. So in that way, it's a bit different. But I know with most people, they don't always connect with their inner soul. They just think that, oh, too hard. It's a too hard basket. They just put it away and they won't work with it. But what I want to do is I want to open up the understanding and say, look, there is an opportunity here for you to feel loved. And in that, you can actually feel a connection between you and the greater power above. Okay? I don't make any qualms. I don't take full credit for everything that I do, but I heal with the gift I was born with, and that's what I work through. So hopefully that answers your question.
Well, okay. So what were those things that you noticed about yourself early on that others don't have?
Well, I could sense people in pain. And then in time, I was able to not only sense it, but then I was thinking, well, how would I go about correcting it? And at one time, I was at a Toastmaster meeting in Palm Springs, California. And while I was there, I was in a group of people. We were all listening to the person speaking up in the front of the room. And as the person was speaking, I became keenly aware of somebody in the room who was in a lot of pain. So I looked around the room, and I found a friend of mine. Her name was Dawn. She says, oh my goodness, Dawn is in pain. So I'm thinking, okay, where's the pain at? Her head, neck, and shoulder. And it was really bad. So I'm still listening to the speaker up in front of the room, but at the same time, I'm sending her healing. So in my mind, I'm sitting there thinking, well, if her bones were in the right place, then she would feel better. So in my mind, I'm actually rearranging the bones click by click to make sure they get them all back into correct alignment. At the end of the meeting, I came up to her. I said, Don, how you doing? She goes, okay. And I says, if anything changes over the next couple of days, give me a call, let me know. 3 days later, she calls me up. She says, Brian, what did you do? I go, what do you mean? And she says, I had a pain that I've had for 23 years, and now it's gone. What did you do? And I says, I'm sorry, Don, I felt your pain, and I didn't want to feel it anymore, and all I could do is think about actually taking the pain away, and the only way I could do that was to scan you and to think, okay, what is wrong, and then to correct it in my mind, and I left it at that. And she says, the pain that I've had for 23 years is now gone. And I'm thankful for that opportunity you've actually given me. So
she wasn't even aware that she was getting a healing.
What's that?
She wasn't even aware that she was getting a healing.
No, I didn't know at that time that I really needed to ask permission, because I was very much a novice at learning how to actually do these things. And so I thought, heck, I don't really like that feeling. I need to rearrange it. So in my mind, I rearranged it all. But over the next few days, she told me that all these bones in her neck and shoulder and upper back kept cracking. And then she all of a sudden didn't have the problem anymore.
Wow. Okay, and I know you've mentioned in one of your stories about someone who couldn't hear, and you were able to assist with that. That's a good story.
Okay, well, in that aspect, what I've done is I've asked people if I could feel what they're feeling. And when I do that, I actually use Facebook, usually because it has the video capability, just like Skype does. And so what I do is I come over, I put their spirit over me, and then I'm able to then, I can even just, as if I'm taking that part of their spirit out and I'm looking at it in my spiritual eyes, and I'm actually able to then find what is exactly that's actually in there that's causing the disruption so they can't hear. And what I do is I'll go through and I'll feel it, and then what I'll do is I'll ask them if it's okay if I heal it. Of course, it's always all right, but I still need to ask the question. And then I go through, I remove whatever the obstruction is or mucus or whatever it is, put it all back, put it all normal, clear it all up, put it back in, and within moments, they all of a sudden their ears start hearing. And that, to me, is a very rewarding feeling, because of the fact that I wasn't expecting to wake up in the morning to know that I was going to give somebody hearing. And I had another lady who was over here not too far from where I lived, and I knew her, and I asked her permission to actually see if I could heal her. And I put my hands over her, near her head, and I was able to feel what the obstruction was, and then I just took out whatever the obstruction was and I threw it away. And now she was born deaf, but now she's actually starting to hear. And that is through the healing that I do.
Now, there's different layers in this whole healing world, emotional healing, and do you go into that area as well?
Yes. Well, what I do is I've in the last year I've done over 400 broken hearts. I've healed people from all over the world, basically helping to remove the emotional layers off their heart and off their body. And what I have found, Sheila, is that when I'm talking to people, they tend to actually get emotions locked up in parts of their body. Okay? And because those emotions are locked up in different parts of their body, it corresponds to pains they have on their body. When I'm actually able to then remove that emotion, 9 times out of 10, the pains go with them. It's very rare that a pain still remains after the emotion's been removed, because the emotion is locked into a pain. When that pain is therefore, or when the emotion is taken away, the pain just disappears.
Wow.
And some people don't understand that, but it happens with me all the time. That's what I focus on. That's why I do most of my healing in that way.
So then, do certain when you have a certain part of your body that's in pain, does that correlate with anything? I mean, like, if you've got pain in your feet, what would that, does that just mean something, or?
No, see, different people have different emotions locked up in different parts of their body. Like, I'm not sure. I don't think I can ask you because I can actually read you now, but emotion in the feet would be, it could be anything. Anything could be tied into it. But what I do is I go through from head to toe, going through and removing all that negative energy. And just like even last night, I was on to a lady online with her. She was in Ireland, and I was actually, she was in a cold house, but I was able to warm her up so much in her bosom that she didn't need to put the heater on anymore because I had given her that much caring and love and healing that she was all of a sudden feeling warm, even though she was in a cold environment. Having said that, there are many ways that pain can be in different parts of the body. I find in a lot of people that they tend to get a lot of pain in the lower part of their head, neck, shoulder, and from there down. It just depends on where they are. On women, sometimes they have a lot of emotion locked up in things that happened to them as children. I found that a lot of women that I've worked with, some of them have had, unfortunately, things that have happened to them as children and as toddlers and as babies. And what I do is I help them to actually remove those things and to get them out of their lives because they no longer need to carry the weight of the emotion that goes with it. So what I do is I help them to offload it, and I watch a glaze in their eyes turn to a gleam within seconds because once they feel it, they feel complete.
And, here's the thing is that, sometimes we don't know what's in there. We don't remember what gave us pain and sadness. And how do you, if you don't have a healer, what do you do?
Well, it is difficult, Sheila, for what you're saying, because what I find is that, just as you said, there are many emotions, even as children, and even before you can even remember, there's emotions which are stored up in your body, which is weighing you down, that have been there since you were a baby. But by taking those things and getting them off you, because you cannot remember them, there's no reason why you need to carry all that weight within you. So what I do is I help to wipe all that off and then offload all that stuff. I'm not going to use the words I normally use because it's not appropriate, but I don't like the fact that people have abused others. And so what I do is I go through and I clear off all of that bad stuff, clear it all off, and then when I'm finished, on women, I say, you are now a new woman. You have a new soul within you. You can now look at people for who they are, and you can bring people into your life who you want to have in your life, not because you just want to put up with them, but because you really want them in your life.
All right.
And with that aspect, it has so many things that can happen with it. And I love being able to heal people's hearts and their whole bodies. And I just see a complete transformation every single time that I have done it. I have just seen people just come out of their cocoon and just like, whoa, is this what it's all about? Is this what it's like?
Wow.
And
instant awakening. Wow.
And it's very rewarding. It's something I really love doing, and that's the thing that I actually do the most of. People actually contact me at least daily that I'm actually changing people's lives and getting them out of the darkness that they feel into the light within them.
And every single person who heals, every single person who heals the whole world. And that's what we're so wanting right now, is for everybody to have the opportunity to let go of what's holding you down and to heal the unlove that lies within And thank God that you've made yourself public and social so that people can know that at least there's this opportunity to be healed.
It's one of the things I love doing is actually going out there and changing people's lives. Not that I'm making them worse, but I'm improving them and I'm helping them to actually cope with life. And literally, I have people that I might have, like, I might be doing a healing, I might have 4 or 5 people waiting to be healed. And every time it's like it's like giving me a bit more ability to help more people because I feel so much more connected to the people who I'm healing. And the reason why I use a video aspect as much as I can to talk with people is because I know that I can contact them straight away. And like for you, for example, Sheila, do I have your permission to hold your heart?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So I'm going to come over, I'm going to grab your heart, I'm going to bring it down. And you can tell me at any time if you actually feel me holding your heart. Now, there's a lot of emotion here. Now, is there any of this that you want me to take care of, or do you mean just leave it the way that it is?
Please do.
Okay, I'll remove off all of those things which hold all the emotion in place. And you've got a lot of big gaping holes in there. I'll talk to you off camera after we're finished about the things I felt from what I'm healing off on you right now, because it's not appropriate for everybody to hear it. So I'll leave that off. But I'm going to remove all that pain just the same. Okay, and on the other side, I'm going to move off all that thing that holds all that emotion in place. Get rid of all that things that happened to you as a child and younger. Get rid of all that stuff because you don't need that stuff. You can take your heart, hold it up to mine, feeling your heart beating, feeling you breathing, and now presenting it back to you.
Thank you, Brian.
Did you feel that?
Absolutely.
Did you feel the warmness in your heart?
Absolutely.
And that's what I do. I heal people. That's something that I really love doing, and I'm honored that you've allowed me to do an online healing with you.
I thank you so very much, and I will, because we'll talk about this as the days go on and I begin to feel things and understand things better. I will tell the people about this experience, because I have been doing healers for a very long time. I have not been doing medical at all, and I respond well to healers because I believe in it, I understand it, and it is the way. It is the way. And I am so fortunate to have so many beautiful, wonderful healing peeps on my show, and I am getting the benefits of every one of my guests, not just in this healing capacity, but also because we're paying it forward and we are changing the world and we are healing the world, and it is just the most wonderful thing that we can do, and it's purpose. It really is purpose.
Well, you might find this interesting though, because lately I've had a lot of people come to me asking me to help them with different aspects of doing psychic surgery. And I've had a number of people lately actually asking me to do brain surgery on them. And I've been able to, when I'm inside them, I can actually take their brain out, bring it down. I can then look at it from left and right, and they can actually feel me actually as if I'm actually holding their brain. And then what I do is I do like a CAT scan where I take it slice by slice, and I'm actually able to heal those aspects as I go through the brain, wiping out all the bad aspects and all of the residue which is in there, removing that, throwing it out, and getting rid of all that stuff. And then after I'm finished, then I go to the other side. And the whole time while this is happening, they're actually experiencing that there's changes going on in their head, and they just and it's different because they don't have to bleed, they don't have to be put under. They're actually able to look at me face to face while we're talking online, and they're actually able to respond straight away and saying, "Oh, I'm feeling that," and I'm able to then also restore blood flow to different parts of the brain which have not had it for a while because of residue which is in there which I've removed, and then by bringing it back, they said, "Wow, this is," and my head is so much clearer, and I've actually been able to help people who have had like really emotional troubles and even having difficulty sleeping and things like that. And within just a short period that I'm talking to them, they actually, when I talk to them the next day, I'll just text them and say, "How are you doing?" And they said, "OMG," or whatever, and it's like, and they might repeat it 100 times, and it's like, I never thought I could feel like this, and they sleep better than they've ever slept before. They most and it's just one of those things that happens because they are actually feeling validated for what they feel. And once I'm able to feel that and remove all the stuff I need to remove, it's better and people feel better. And that's what I love to do. I love to help people. And this is probably one of the main reasons why I've been asked by so many to actually teach it. And I'm actually going to be teaching people how to be healers as well. And that will be within the next day or two. I'll be online with my teaching others to do the healing that I do.
Okay, let me ask you something. Now, I would like to know about this teaching people how to be healers. Is this a paid for course that you've got going?
It will be, because the aspect that I have to use is I'm using a online facility that allows me to have. It's not a webinar. It's actually better than a webinar. It's an online class. I'll have myself just like I'm on right now with you with the camera. I'll actually be teaching, and I'll have up to 3 students with me on there. Everybody else in the class is in a monitor mode where they can see everything that's going on. I can present a question. We can have one person as a subject, one person as the practitioner, another person as an observer, and then I can have them interact all with each other, and then I can also have the information online as to questions which are coming up, and I can actually bring it into the conversation and whatever, plus lessons and stuff like that. I'm working right now trying to figure out exactly what it's going to cost for this facility. I have an aspect of what I'm working on, but obviously there's just a lot of things I have to put into play before it can all work exactly the way I want to. But it's very short to be until it's actually completed.
Right.
So,
well,
what I do,
be sure and keep me posted on that, because I will want to share that.
Okay. Well, on Facebook, if you look up Energy Healers School, Energy Healers Learning School, that will actually bring you to my Facebook page, and then I can, if you ask to join the group, then I can add them. And then from there, then I'll be able to, from those people, they'll be notified of all the aspects of the training. So it's open to anybody who wants to come in to be trained, and I can train as many as they will allow me to train them, and I'll teach them what I know and how I heal. And people who have been following what I do have been having miraculous responses to the people they've actually been doing. So I think that if I can teach them, then I can teach others. And
I'm feeling
what I do is I help to unlock it.
I'm feeling the energy through my whole body right now, all the way to my feet.
That's great, because I sent you the healing to fill your heart.
I'm feeling it. Okay, and what about now if somebody is wanting a healing? What is the process there, and is there a cost for that? And what? Let me have some details about that, because after they hear about what I'm going through right now, there might be some people who are very.
Well, I do have a website called brianthehealer.com. That's Brian with an I, BRINTHEHEALER.com, and that's actually my website. If you want to know on there is actually the aspects of where you can book. It's actually on there, so you can just book separately. On there, you can. I do ask if people can pay, that they do. Not that it's my requirement to actually have to have a payment to heal people, but it helps to support me because I'm actually self-supporting, and I have been since October of last year, and I don't. I have been working full time since October, and some days when my daughter's not here, I've been doing healings for 10 hours in a day.
Oh my!
And
And how do you feel, Brian, after a 10-day healing? I mean, does that wear on you? Does all that come through you? Does that?
it's actually it doesn't really bother me. I actually enjoy being able to spend that time healing people because I know that I'm changing lives and helping people for the better. And like I've had many people from the Philippines and like in Mexico who've contacted me for healings. Now I know for those people, even a $50 asking fee for even a donation, that's a lot of money for them. That's almost like a month's income to be able to pay for a healing. So on many of those people, I understand that I'm actually just not where if they're booking on there, the time is theirs. But I understand that I'm not going to make it a requirement for them to actually have to pay because to them, I will give gifts of healing for those people who really need it. And I will actually extend love to them, support them in every way that I can, as much as anybody else that I treat. I don't treat anybody different just because of the fact that some may be able to afford it and other people not. And did you actually hear about that guy who was a Vietnam vet that was able to help?
No, I didn't.
There was this lady who I was working with on my Facebook page, and I was having a difficult time trying to figure out what was wrong with her. And I couldn't figure out, there was just one piece of the puzzle that wasn't working exactly right. So I asked her what her husband did, and she said he's a vet. I said, a veterinarian? And she goes, no, a Vietnam vet. Oh, okay. So I said, I need to talk to him. Do you think it'd be possible for me to talk to him?
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
So the following morning, I was still awake because of the time difference. I was still awake, and I started talking to him. And he was in the Vietnam era, where the Agent Orange was pretty prevalent, and since for like 40 years, he'd been basically living in a bubble. He you talk to him, he may say one or two words, but mostly just utterings like yeah. But then I'm not sure how his wife was actually able to communicate with him because he wasn't. She would have to ask him questions where he could either say He'd have to just ask questions like that. And she was to the point of wanting to leave him that same day that I did the healing on him. And I says, okay, may I feel what you're feeling? Yes. So I put him on myself. I actually felt what he was feeling. And I thought, oh my goodness. Now I understand what he's going through. So I says, I need your permission to allow me to heal you. So then I took my hands, which I'm healing off. I'm actually wiping off all the Agent Orange from inside his body and throwing it away. 5 minutes after I finished the process, I was talking to them on video on Skype, on Facebook, and I was looking at him, and he started turning blue. His skin color was blue, and I turned to his wife and I said, "Is he normally that color?" And she looks at him, and her face just went, "Whoa, what's going on?" And I says, "That's the Agent Orange coming out of his body. And his body is detoxifying right now as we speak."
Oh my God.
So having said that, within a couple minutes, he started to talk in sentences with regular words. And his wife had never heard him actually say other than utterings the whole time they've been married. And within minutes, he was actually talking, and it was as if he came out of a bubble after 40 years.
Oh my God. That is amazing. That is amazing. Okay, and okay, I mean, this is divine energy. Um, I mean, what do you call it? What I mean, some people might not even like believe in this.
That's why I had that thing a few weeks back called Healing the Skeptics.
Yes.
I love the fact that I have people that come up to me and says, "Oh, I don't believe in that stuff." And so just like with you, I said, "Well, do you mind if I hold your heart for a minute?" And then it's like, "Yeah, okay, yeah, go ahead." So then when I grab it, they go, "I felt that,"
Right.
and then I take the pain off, and I says, "And thank you for letting me take all these pains off." And then when I present them back their heart, they change from foe to promoter like that,
Yeah.
because all of a sudden they realize that there's more to it than what they believed before, and it's just one of the things that happen.
Wow.
So
Wow. Well, I'm so grateful that you came on the show. I'm grateful for your attention. And folks, I hope you are inspired by this and will, think about calling Brian and getting a healing that you may not even realize that is in there that is needed. And I will keep you posted on how I'm doing, because this is absolutely wonderful. And so I'm going to put all your I'll put up all your website links and all of that at the bottom of our interview. And I just thank you so much for coming.
it's been my pleasure. Thank you so much for allowing me to talk to you and to
All
help.
right. Yeah, absolutely. All right, peeps. Well, we'll see you again soon. From my heart to yours. Namaste.
Let me see.